all set? One second. The meeting tonight is for the conduct of town business by the town board. The public is invited to participate at the items marked on the agenda public comment. During that segment of the meeting, if you have a question or comment for the supervisor, please raise your hand and wait to be acknowledged. Please state your full name and limit your remarks to 3 minutes. Thank you for your anticipated cooperation.
Thank you very much. I'd like to start the meeting off with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence for all our brave men and women fighting all over the world for democracy and freedom. Thank you. Welcome, everybody. So we're on item 3, motion to approve the agenda. I'd like to make an amendment to the agenda. I'd like to add resolution number 39, and I'll discuss that later on. And I'd also like to, for workshop topics, the CAC update, I'd like to put that under presentation. So that's a motion for the amendment to the agenda. I need a motion and a second.
No motion. A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None being said, passed. Motion to approve the minutes from the, now that we did the amendment, let's...
I move that we approve the amended agenda.
The agenda.
Yes.
Okay, second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Motion to approve minutes from the March 11, 2019 Town Board meeting.
I'll make the motion.
Need a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Item 5, authorized payment of bills in the amount of $136,588.45. Need a motion to pay the bills, gentlemen.
Yes, I'll make that motion. I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None being said, we're going to pay the bills. Item 6, presentation, Girl Scouts, ideas for the town park. Ladies? That'd be you. Take your time.
Okay, great. Do we have time to sign in for our presentation?
Sure. Always have time for the Girl Scouts. Are you kidding me?
If I can sign into just my Gmail
Absolutely.
account on there, I will be able to bring up their presentation. So just get me
Minimize or
Chrome.
I'll just, yeah,
Time to Chrome, my Gmail.
didn't update the batteries. It's good that I got plugged in. Oh, yeah, that's why. Okay, so how do I get another Gmail account? Where is it? Who's in the right one? There it is. Mine doesn't.
Are we all done with the Girl Scout cookies, ladies?
We should have brought you some. That's our mistake.
Wait, they're done?
They start?
I didn't even get any of this. Is that, I don't think, I hope it's not all done. I didn't get any.
Did you buy any?
No, I'm empty.
Capital K, right?
It's empty.
Usually it tells you.
See all my Gmails right now. How do I do that? No, now it says I've received an email for request for access. Oh, new device.
softball?
Ellen.
Ellen?
So today was the first practice, and it wasn't supposed to go that long. And I'm frozen. I'm frozen to the bone right now. She's shivering. It's still going on.
Oh, really? Where is the practice?
Up at Young's. Yeah, they got the T-ball field and a Little League field. So they had teams out on the Little League field, and we were out on the T-ball. But
Got all that.
Thursday's batting practice.
What, Julia? I don't know Miss Dina's account, honey. She ran out to her car. I'm gonna try it one more time. Okay, well, I can't get in there.
Does she have the memory stick or
No, she's trying to get it on her email, but it's
It's
not.
just telling me
It's
active.
denying her access for some reason.
Are you on the network here?
Can I email it to you? Can I
Yeah.
forward it to you? Do you have email?
Must be.
And then
I've
open
tried
it up?
getting on my email on here and mine doesn't work,
Yours
so,
doesn't
no. Would it do a flash drive?
How do I do a flash drive? I'm not sure.
On the Surface Pro, download it onto here and I'll put it in here.
Workshop, right?
So, okay.
So we just have this presentation
Oh.
and workshop topics, right?
As far as I can see.
Are you in here, Trey?
Is it capital G? C, little c?
You're giving her.
C-O-C-O-Z-G-A.
We can't pull up.
And then I'm gonna get you out of here.
so? Let's just while you're doing that, we'll just continue with the meeting, if that's all right.
Yeah. Jolene.
Yeah, take your time.
Jolene,
Take
I'm
your
gonna-
time.
I'm gonna
Take
sign
your
you
time.
out.
CAC update? Would anybody like to come up to the CAC update? Yeah, please. State your name, please.
Hello. My name is Cindy Lancetta, and I'm here to represent the CAC this evening. This isn't really a formal presentation because I wanted to more or less update you as to what it is that we've been doing and where we're at. About a year ago, we were tasked by the town board to develop design guidelines for the Route 9W corridor. And now, this was something that a lot of our planning documents called for. And so we began the process by looking at other towns, adjoining towns, and seeing what they had in terms of design guidelines. And we liked the town of Newburgh seemed to have some good stuff. And then we were fortunate enough to have professional people here in town that were willing to volunteer. Matt Kierstead, a professional historic preservationist, began to help our group. And then later on, Ellen Stewart came on board, and she is also a professional person. And we began putting together this document, which is strictly a draft document at this point. We put in a lot of countless volunteer hours. The group met regularly every month. And we ran this draft by Ulster County Planning. And they gave us input, and we incorporated what they had asked us to incorporate as well. So where we are right now is we have a draft. We are going to distribute it to you guys, and we hope that you will look it over, give us your feedback. There were certain things that we actually left open because we wanted your feedback on it. And also, we were hoping that you would distribute it to the Planning Board and the Zoning Board of Appeals so that we could get their input as well. And then we're hoping to meet again in May, and we hope to have comments back by that time so we can take a look at those and see where it is that we need to go before we come back to the board with our official presentation. Do you have any questions about anything?
So I think we're in this mode of saving paper, so I'll send it to the town board, the planning board, and the ZBA. Plus, we have 3 copies, I think.
Yeah, we have 3 hard copies here.
Okay.
I'll leave them with you, and,
Okay.
and for anybody that, and feel free, you don't have to even, give us your feedback electronically. If you want to just mark these things up, and hand them back, that's fine. We just would appreciate your input on this. And then hopefully we'll be able to put something together and bring it back to you again.
Yeah, I just have some comments and a couple of questions. First of all, I thank you for continuing on this. We started on this probably when I first came on the board 5 years ago, or 6 years ago, however many years that was.
It'll be 6.
And so it's not an easy task. The question I always have, though, the guidelines, they'll be maintained as guidelines, or will they be written into the code, or some of each, or how will that go?
Well, that's something that the town board would have to decide.
What, do you have a recommendation?
We've talked about the pros and cons of doing a variety of things. The nice thing about having this available in its present form is that we can change things if we find something's not working, we can change it easy enough. If
Right.
we were to keep it available, let's say in the planning department, so when people come in, because most of this has to do with site plan approval, because the Route 9W corridor is more, commercial development.
Right.
So when they come in for site plan approval, they would receive this as part of their packet, and we would encourage them to follow it. At some point, you might even codify that they should follow the design guidelines.
Right.
But the actual specifics of this, you might not want to codify for quite a while, because it's something that, you might want to change pretty regularly, actually.
How does Newburgh handle it?
I don't know about Newburgh, but I know that's the way Highland decided to handle it. That they said as part of the site plan approval, you want to follow the design guidelines as you would find in the planning department. And then that way, that document can be changed continually. But once it's codified, you know how difficult it is to change anything once it's in the law.
And how does it relate to the Ulster County's, I'm not sure what they call it, design guidelines, the document that came out a year or two ago?
We reference that.
Okay.
We encourage people, if they want more information, to go to those documents.
So you would say that's sort of one level, a higher level, a broader view, and then down another notch to Marlborough to get a little bit more specific on design guidelines.
This is very specific,
Okay.
because this is just for the Route 9W corridor for Marlborough and Milton. And it talks about our agricultural history and the types of buildings that we tend to feel comfortable with, utilitarian buildings in this community, and, and why we prefer what we do in this town as opposed to some other towns.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank the CAC for all their time. Appreciate it. The Girl Scouts ready? Okay. Plan B is good. Thank you.
It's always good to have a backup plan. Thank you.
Speak right into the microphone.
So you just start.
Talk, yeah, so this
So-
way we could hear you.
Okay, so we're Girl Scouts from Troop 60174 in Marlborough, and we're working towards achieving our silver award. And myself, my name is Julia, that's Olivia, and that's Amanda. And we have a proposal for the enhancements to the play area of the town park.
We are planning to earn our Girl Scout Silver Award, and a Silver Award is the highest award that a Girl Scout cadet can achieve.
We hope to create additional outdoor opportunities for the kids of the Marlborough community. Our goal is to attract more community use of the park and involvement of the surrounding area.
So we have been considering options to support the community and would like the board to consider a gaga ball pit and a tire caterpillar play structure. The incorporation of these additional structures will enhance the play for children of all ages.
We are proposing a Gaga Ball pit and tire caterpillar to be placed on the west side of the pond.
So could I ask what a Gaga ball pit is?
It's like Lady Gaga.
It's the green hexagon.
It's the green hexagon.
Oh, next page.
Yeah.
Why do they call it a Gaga ball pit?
Yeah,
Gaga
it's like
ball
a
pit.
game, sort of. It's like this huge.
It's kind of like dodgeball in a big pit. It's a large game that includes everybody. So you can have from 2 people to like as many as you can fit in the hexagon, basically, around the outside of it.
Cool.
Oh, great. And why is it called a Gaga pit? How do you get the name Gaga?
Lady Gaga
It
invented
was
it.
developed by Girl Scouts.
Okay.
So we're planning to teach the kids at the town park how to play the game. And and it will help them get more exercise and learn how to have fun and be competitive.
So the layout is a hexagon and it has a diameter of 16 feet and it will have one opening to get in. We were going to build it out of pressure treated wood that were 8 feet 2 by 12. And we were going to use the posts that we used to keep it together. We were going to put them 10 to 12 inches into the ground for stability.
So my structure, which I'm taking part in, is the caterpillar structure, and it will be built by myself, and I'm going to have a team of volunteers. It's going to be made out of recycled tires, all of them different sizes and different treads, so they all will look very individual. And so as a Girl Scout, I learned how to use my resources wisely, and all the tires were affordable, safe, and durable. And I'm planning to paint all the tires various colors, and the structure will be safe, fun, and inviting, as you can see on the page with the little tires paint. So our structures have many health and social benefits, including hand-eye coordination. It can develop strategical thinking, develops agility, jumping, striking, and dodging skills, and it will most definitely have a positive impact on the community, and it will increase recreational use of the park for many years to come.
We plan to complete the project by the end of June to allow for education during the summer camp and also to allow families to enjoy the enhancements throughout the summer.
So, in conclusion, we respectively ask the board's approval and permission to create our goggle ball pit and tire caterpillar structure. At the completion of our project, we would like to propose a ribbon cutting ceremony and would hope you, Supervisor Lanzetta, would be present at the ceremony. We also request a letter to indicate that we have completed our project and your plan to sustain our project after the completion. Thank you, and we can take any questions you have about the project now.
So, you have a question?
I was just gonna add.
Yeah.
It says, the closed grants and sponsors, this is you funded? Like you were able to?
Yes, we
secure funding?
were
Wow.
able to get several sponsors and volunteers to help us with the project.
Very
Family,
impressive.
friends, family.
The Gaga pit, the material in that, is that like mulch or rubberized mulch, or is that like a wood-based mulch, or is it stone, sand?
For the bottom,
Yeah.
we were going to do packed dirt or sand because we don't want to do concrete
Yeah.
because kids would get hurt and hit their hand
Absolutely.
against it.
Okay.
You have a rough idea where you would like to put the Gaga pit?
It's on the
Where?
map.
If you look on the page, right there is where we'd like to put it.
Oh,
Where
okay.
the hexagon is where the proposed gaga ball pit would be. And then we have like, what do we have there?
Let me see.
The tie.
And we have little tires there for the structure.
Are the,
So it would be two rows of a two rows of a Caterpillar, or just like one big row?
No, it would just be one.
Okay.
do you know what, how, in reference to the horseshoe pits that are over there, is it next to them?
Yeah.
So you're gonna keep it away from
And the size of the Caterpillar as well is completely negotiable. As of now, it's standing at around 30 to 36 feet in length, but that's completely negotiable. Yeah.
10 to 12 tires. So they're like tractor tires then, right? Big tractor
Yeah, they're
tires.
pretty big tires. Off the ground, they'll be about
I see 'em
3 to 4
here.
feet off the ground, but the tires themselves are
Like
like
6-foot
8
tires
Yeah,
and like,
they're
yeah.
pretty hefty tires.
All the tires that she's already, is able, she's already, had all of the recycled tires. And here are some pictures of what it potentially could look like without, before it's painted.
Can you tell me why you chose that location?
The location of Brown Pond.
Gaga pit.
The Gaga pit and the Caterpillar? I'm just asking,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
fine.
So, well, you can go after me, you share yourself. So, like, as a little kid, like, I always did, like, recreational sports at the park, and we always were there for, like, events and ceremonies. And since we were in kindergarten, and we're in 8th grade now, we've had our bridging ceremony at this park. And family has come to our ceremonies and little kids, and they never really have much to do there besides just play on the slides and, but, you get kind of bored sometimes with slides. So we thought that, like, just adding in, like, this new element would just make it so much more fun and exciting to be there.
Do you have a source for your tires?
Yeah, for, huh?
They got them already.
Got them already? Oh, these are your actual tires, darn it. If you need more tires, I know the place to get them.
So, what would you like from the board today?
Just the approval of the project.
And what do you think the sustainability costs would be?
Well, for the tires, you just need to weed whack around the tires just to sustain, like, the grass doesn't make sure it doesn't overgrow. And occasionally, you would probably need to paint the tires, like, every few years. And then for the bottom of it.
For the pit, needs the same thing, so mowing and weed whacking, and maybe every few years would need to be restained to help keep the wood, like,
probably replace some
Yeah,
of
like
the sand too.
sealed, like deck sealed or something like that.
Okay.
And you said you were thinking about sand on the inside?
Yeah,
or-
that's
sand
some
or
sort.
packed dirt.
Probably sand.
Just
would be
something
soft.
so that, because it's a physical game,
Yeah.
like, just that nobody gets hurt.
Yeah, well, the sand, or
Probably better.
sand or stone dust, we wouldn't have to mow it. That's what I'm just
No,
thinking
he's
for,
talking mowing around the outside.
on the outside. Yeah, but.
The outside will be
packed
done, but
dirt
that'll be
would
maintained anyway, that's my point.
There really is very little sustainability. It's
Yeah.
a requirement of the Silver Award. So the Silver Award for Girl Scouts is a leadership award. So all they require is that somebody approves it and just says, we did the project, and yes, we will maintain it at our park with whatever minimal maintenance is required.
Okay.
So
Alright.
we're not looking for you guys to have to
No,
do
that's
any
fine.
type of.
No, it's okay. So, let's make a motion and get these ladies
I'll
on the
make a
road.
motion to approve the Girl Scouts project here.
Yeah, let's second that.
And second, all in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
So
Very nice.
moved. All right,
Great job.
ladies.
Good job.
Good job. Now the hard part starts. You gotta actually do it. And you will. Thank you very much, appreciate it. Very good job. Okay. Any comments on the agenda?
You gotta say it over.
Yes, please come up.
Actually, it's not a comment on the agenda, but
It's not a comment on the agenda, but
Your
before
name,
these young
please?
ladies leave, I'd like to say something. My name is Mickey Simonovsky, and I just want to congratulate you Girl Scouts. That was an excellent presentation, very professional, very well thought out, and a definite service to our community. So congratulations on a job well done tonight.
Thank you, Mickey. Now, any comments on the agenda? Just the agenda. Okay.
I'm being, no.
There's no new business. So we have here workshop topics. Howard, you want to talk about the removal of tires from the transfer station?
So, as you know, we have a large pile of tires at the transfer station, which we've slowly been trying to get rid of. So the latest information on that is that Larry has contacted Empire Tire, I believe it is. Their proposal is to park a 53-foot trailer there, closed trailer. I thought it was going to be open, but it's a closed trailer. Park it there for a week, and we could load as many tires as we can squeeze into there stacked at $2,500 a trailer load. So that sounds like a good proposition. However, you have to have someone stack, or some people stack the tires inside the trailer. So that is somewhat of an issue, but we possibly could use some community service time, which I think you're talking to the court about. And perhaps we'll have to get some temporary help. Probably need 2 or 3 able-bodied people to stack the tires. Whether we can get, and later on we're going to talk about the cost for this, but possibly 3 or 4 trailer loads, keep it within that 10K figure that we're talking about. It might, I would think 4 trailer loads would really do it, would probably dwindle it down to nothing. So that would be the hope anyway. The good thing is they take tires on rims, but they don't take the big heavy-duty tires. So I don't know what we'll do with them. Maybe those will go into in the back or something like that. But that's something we can worry about later. But that's where we are right now on that item. So related to that, we need to get the brush chipped up. The pile at the transfer station is fairly large, so we're going to contact Ulster County Resource Recovery about renting their chipper. Gail is interested in using it as well. Trouble is they don't have a tub grinder anymore. They just have a regular chipper with a 30-inch throat. Gail has stuff bigger than that. So what we're going to do with some of the big stuff Gail has up there, I don't know, possibly take it to the composting place here on Milton Turnpike. But that's something I have to discuss with Gail. I just found this out the other day. So that's another item sort of related to it is related to the transfer station.
That's a good idea to take it up to the compost.
Yeah, I think it's like $40 a dump truck load or something like that.
Yeah,
he's got some big stuff, more than 3 feet across. So that's the latest on that.
Any questions for?
No, he answered him. The rims was, I was worried about the rims.
Yeah, that's the nice part about it. So far, they'll take the rims.
And I received a letter from Judge Jackson that said that they'll help us out with community service. So that'll be a good thing.
Right. You said the sheriff's department checked with too?
Yes, the sheriff's department is a possibility too, right?
They're painting the Marlborough firehouse right now.
Yes, that's another area. That's right. Thanks. Yeah.
While they're down here, I mean,
Yeah.
Okay, we've been meeting with Tomvac. Scott Corcoran, Councilman Corcoran is not here today. So Howard, do you want to bring us up to date on that?
I think we've had 3 meetings with the committee, and most of those committees have been talking about the alterations that would be necessary to the interior and exterior of the Tomvac building. So we kind of agreed on a final configuration and items that would need to be addressed, and we've turned that over to Phil Bell, who is our engineer, who's going to now give us a cost of those improvements with multiple options, I think. So I think he's planning on doing that initially by the end of this week, if I recall. Is that right, Al? Is that what he said?
Yeah, he said, at the end of the week.
The end of the week.
I was having to before the next meeting.
Yeah.
I think what we want to do is go back to the committee first and show it to them, and then come here.
That would be a good idea.
Okay. So stay tuned.
Okay, so do we want to put that up now, Danielle? So Howard could go over that.
Okay, so the next item. So you guys know I've been sort of thinking about how we can put together a plan that gives us some framework for spending going forward to get some of the projects we've been talking about done. So I put this little sheet together that talks about where our current fund balance is. It's about 1.4 million. We normally like to keep the fund balance around $1 million, so we might have around 400,000 to work with. So under 1 there, A, B, C, D, E, F, and G are just items of how we would potentially spend down that 400,000. The first one is just keep 100,000 in reserve to reduce the 2020 tax levy. We talked, the next item there, we talked at a meeting or two ago about putting another 50,000 in the building reserve fund, which is now at 111,000. So that would get that up to 161,000. I would really like to spend 40,000 to plant trees as per the DEC grant that Rosemary worked on so diligently for the last 2 years, and we haven't been able to get that approved. It's a very good plan, I think. It's about 107 trees that would be planted along the 9W corridor in Marlborough and around Sands Avenue Park in Milton. And there's a very detailed plan with all where the trees go, what the species are, and so forth. So it would be great to get that done. The next item there is the 5,000 we talked about, I think, at the last meeting to spend on the cultural resources inventory we want to do for the town. The update on that is that we just submitted the grant yesterday, Rosemary? Yesterday. Rosemary pushed the button yesterday. Today was the deadline. So that's before the Preservation New York people to review it, and hopefully they'll approve it. It's a very well-written grant, I believe. We'll see. Spent a lot of time on that. And then the next 3 items are basically $10,000 each, one for the Marlborough Gateway sign, one for the transfer station building. We talked about that. I think we agreed to set aside $10K for that. Yeah, all right. And $10K to remove all the transfer station tires. So that, though A through G comes up to $225,000. And then the next figure, so I'm looking at number 2 there, total for projects A through G above, $225,000. In the fund balance of the 1.4 million, there is reserve for that building fund, that 111K, and then there's another 16K for there's a park reserve fund, so that's that 127,621. So if you take those things, subtract them out, that leaves you with 1,054,000. So we still have a little over $1 million left if we do all those things. So then that gets us to the Milton Pier project, and how are we going to fund this item? So number 3 there just itemizes the cost as we put it. This is directly from the grant that we got last year. We said we'd do a little over $1 million in a bond. We said we'd do 156,000 and change from the town cash bucket, and the next 2 items are covered by the grant. So the total cost you can see there is $1,568,730 for the Milton Pier. Now, we don't really know what the parameters are for this grant. We have a meeting this week, I think on Thursday or Friday, to meet with the people that administer this grant, and they can give us more of an idea of what timeline we're on and exactly how this money gets spent and what leeway we have and that sort of thing. So number 4 there is just I call it a straw man plan, how we might possibly fund this project. If we have 1.5 million, we have 0.3 million from the grant, 157 that the town throws in, that still leaves us about 1.1 million short, and then I propose that we look at doing a ban and then a bond eventually. So again, this is very rudimentary. I'm not a ban and a bond expert. I know there's many ways to do bans. You can do them for short periods of time. You can chop them up. You don't have to do the whole amount. This is the kind of stuff that I think on Friday's meeting, when we meet with the folks from New York State Empire State Development, we can get a better feel for how much leeway we have in chopping up this $1.1 million we have to fund. The thing that we have to be aware of regarding this Milton Pier, and you guys know this better than I, is there are permits that go along with it. I think there were 7 permits that we had to get for this pier that Rosemary worked on probably well over a year or 2, which have time limits to them, do they not? They can be extended. Okay. There's that aspect of it. There's always the rising cost of construction, and of course, you know, the longer the pier sits there exposed to ice flows, we got through this year, okay. You know, that's just something could go wrong. So there is some urgency to getting this done. I don't really know what the timeline is regarding the ESD. That's what we need to find out. But I just wanted to sort of put this out there, and so we can start to think about it and talk about it. We had a meeting with Tigenbaum. When was that, Alan? A month or a week or 2 ago? Yeah. You know, they're gung-ho to get this done this year. We'd love to get it done this year, but I don't think we'll have to see. There's a critical period of time, and when is it, Alan? September through the end of October, when you can, that's the only time period you can stick things in the bottom of the surface. All right. So there's about 49 pilings we have to put in, right? Something like that? Close to 50 that we'd have to put in the bottom of the river, and we can only do that in September, October timeframe. And so it would be great if we could get that piece done this year, maybe. I don't know. So I just put this out here to get some discussion. Scott, I know, is a little hesitant to go forward with a bond on this, but I just wanted to get it out there so we can talk about it. So, and the next 2 items, number 5 is the Milton Train Station Park. We have funding to do that. We're going to try to get that done this year and try to keep it within the funding that we have now, plus help from the Highway Department and other donated time. And then the 6th item is the Tomback building, which we just discussed. We'll know more about the actual cost of that, but we have 250, where we've asked for 400, so we might have 650. We'll know that by the end of April. We'll see how that meshes with Phil Bell's estimate. So I guess the big item is the Milton Pier. Get some feedback from you guys on what you think we ought to do there, because in my mind, and certainly I know you feel this way, Alan, it's a key project. It's something we've been talking about for a long time. And
You just pull that down a little bit.
Yep.
A couple of questions I have for you is, in the beginning, you start off like, we're going to keep the fund balance at $1 million.
Mhm.
Then we go down to the pier project, now we're down 850, so.
Yes,
it doesn't seem like it's using the right math if you want to keep it at $1 million.
I know it doesn't keep it at $1 million. I don't agree that we need to keep it at $1 million, but others. I started off saying that we'd like to, but I don't agree that that's so. Yeah, it gets us down to about 900,000. Now, can we live with?
Change, I think it is, right?
Usually they like to see 10% of the budget, which is $8 million, so 800,000 would fall into that.
I'm not saying it's not going to fall into the category, but
No,
Yeah,
I'm just,
when you're spending $350
an
or
explanation why.
$400,000 of taxpayers' money, I mean, we went to sell a Tomback building, it was $350,000. We made it a big deal. Now we're spending more than that on this.
I don't understand what.
Well,
We're
okay.
spending $400,000. All right,
Why
let's see if
are
we
we
go to
going
Tomback.
back to
Let's not go.
Tomback?
$400,000 you're spending taxpayers' money.
We're looking at the
On it.
pier, right?
Right.
Okay.
400,000. No, I'm saying between the whole project he's talking about.
Yeah, it's probably we
It's
are.
over 400 plus the 127.
Yeah, we're spending. Well, part of it is $100,000 to reduce the tax levy. So you take the $100,000 off that. We're not spending it. We're
We're still using it.
using it to reduce the
We're
tax
using it,
levy.
spending it.
Right.
It's not going to be there later.
But okay, yes, but I don't think we're a collection agency. We're supposed to be
I'm not
spending.
saying
that.
we're a collection agency, but like I always said in the beginning, you could also reduce people's taxes by using more of that levy to reduce their taxes also.
Yes, that's
And
right.
that's their money.
That's right. I totally agree with you.
Just want to make sure you
Sure,
do
the
that.
I totally
ban or
agree.
bond will be permissible referendum.
I don't mind a ban or a bond. I'm talking about spending the taxpayers' money. I have no problem with that.
That's what fund balances are for.
Well, we could tax them less and they wouldn't have the big fund balance, right?
I think in a lot of ways too, when we start talking about the Milton Piers, we use the word pier, we use the word park. This when complete, I think we know it. We know the reason that Rosemary spent as much time as she spent with it. This is an economic engine. I mean, this is a driver of tourism that, to be honest with you, we're one of the very few Hudson Valley towns. We would be one of the few river towns.
We are. We would be.
We'd almost be the only one with a deep water port.
Right.
That's already, I mean, I went up and met with Ulster County, and Director of Tourism, and the executive at the time, Michael Hine, and Mike was blown away by this, and said, I can't believe we can have this in Ulster County, whatever you need, you know, within our means, we can help you with.
Right.
As far as with UCAT possibly coming down and, you know, accepting at the time, I mean, this boat that's gonna be coming up, not every weekend, but it's gonna be select weekends, which means it's all gonna be pre-booked tours to events that are gonna be in our town. And B&Bs in our town, and wineries in our town, and the farmers markets in our town. We're not gonna get them all, you know, they can't bring 600 people to the city of Kingston, so they wanna partner with us, you know what I mean? And this can be called a park, because yeah, we'll be a park, you know, for 365 days a year, but there's gonna be a significant amount of time that this is gonna be an economic engine for us.
Yep.
And we have other partners in this, and on the educational side.
Right.
You know, with the Clearwater. So, you know, Eddie, with all due respect, and you and I, we think a lot fiscally. I know we do, we think a lot, but
I'm not against the project.
I'm not saying you are, but I'm just saying, no, you're against the
way it's
taxpayers. You're
dispersed.
protecting the taxpayers, 100%, I understand that, but we have to look at this as an investment. And I think it's a worthwhile investment, and I have for a while, and I've dedicated a large part of my life, almost a decade of my life.
I know you have.
Because I see it as an investment, you know, I really do.
I've dedicated the last 12 years of my life sitting up here, so I know where the money's spent. And
God bless you.
I don't have a problem with the project.
I know, I understand, and I think,
how I feel about spending
I know, we all do, nobody likes it.
Me too. Okay, well,
I think this, I keep saying this meeting on Friday with the experts that can tell us how we can approach this project and how we can fund it, we'll know more after that, so.
I'm just thinking with the road bonds that we have that are coming off, we ban and bond until.
2023, the
No, but you can ban for 3 years until you have the bond.
Right.
Yeah.
I have no problem with that.
Right.
The whole amount.
That's what I'm saying, the road bond, which was a big bond,
Right.
4.5 million.
Right.
That $300 and some thousand per year.
Right,
per
comes
year,
off.
that comes off in
Right.
2023.
Right, so if you ban the whole amount now and not do this, and you just ban the whole, I have no problem with that at all. And I'd rather see it banned than bond, because the percentage is still very low on the bond. And I know that for a fact. So that's my only concern, that's what I.
And we could ban a portion of it and chop it up and then maybe pay it off and then get another ban for another piece.
And there's also the thing with this is now, and it's coming up to the forefront, is because the money that we're receiving right now, it has a sunset on it. So it's not like it's, all right, here's your money, when you're ready to spend it, you know, you can spend it. This has, look, by this date, we need basically a commitment, you know what I mean?
We can ban for the money.
No, what I'm saying is that the reason that we're in this position is because they need to say, we need your commitment, and then there's a certain time when there's gonna be a sunset on it. So, this is why the ban idea came up.
Right.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
I agree with it.
we're just trying to do it. It doesn't exclude us from seeking outside, revenues. So we can still go to federal, we can still go to, because we're
And you can pay down the bonds to get
501c3, we're a
Yeah,
not-for-profit.
And Alan, that's exactly why we want this meeting, to see.
That's why we
if
need this meeting
you're right.
Friday.
If we get member item, can we, you know, if we took a ban, could we pay down the ban with a member
I don't
item?
know.
Yeah, I
know
don't-
if that's
I'm
Well,
possible.
check. I mean, it could be other things.
So there's a lot of questions
Yeah,
that we
I'm-
have to ask and
I'm
find out
hoping-
financially.
I'm hoping that they just say, look, here's what we're gonna commit to you.
Right.
How you ever satisfy the entire means of this project is none of our business, it's your business.
You
at
would
this
hope that
point.
would be the case.
I'm hoping that's where it comes from, I mean, or how it goes, and let's hope maybe if there's any kind of extension time, because, I mean, we got a May 6th, I mean, we know what that time is, it's crunch time right now.
It is,
You know
I
what mean?
agree.
We meet every 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
I agree.
So,
Two more meetings.
This meeting, I hope, when you both come back from the meeting, if you can just take that information and get it out to us.
We will,
That'd be
Rosemary,
great.
are you
Either
going to that
Friday
meeting?
afternoon, and
we will.
You're
I
going.
can stress out all Saturday and Sunday. Would be
Well, the
awesome.
boss is coming, Rosemary's going to be there,
Okay.
so, yeah, so it'll be all right.
Yeah,
Good.
so we have a full house.
So
So
this is-
it's all organized, we're ready to go, so we have a lot of guns on the table, so we're ready to rock and roll. I think it's gonna be great, I mean,
Guns on the table.
like Alan and Ed said, you know, we've been dealing with this for like back when we purchased it 10 years ago, and thank goodness for the local firemen that built the pier and did some great things down there. Now we have, if you have any chance to go down to the landing, Dock Road here in Milton, you check out the train station that's completed. It's now a town building. You could rent it out, and we have been. And just it's a beautiful thing. And it's the only public access to the river that the town of Marlborough has. So Alan is definitely right. It's an economic engine. We've always envisioned that. And so that's why we went after this grant. And Lord and behold, we got it. Last year we didn't get it. I went all the way up to Albany, saw the governor, thought, oh boy, this is going to be great. I'm going to get some money. Nah. Then this year we went up and we did get some money. So this is all good stuff. And a lot of good people that just put so much work into this and their heart and soul into this. So I think it's going to be a great thing, and I think it's a great thing for the community of Marlborough. So it's not a Milton thing, it's not a Marlborough thing, it's a community thing. So
It's almost a regional gateway, a regional thing. It's going to help other surrounding towns, so. Yeah. Yes. Rosemary, Al, you have to come up, Rosemary.
You want to come up, Rose?
You have to come up.
You have to come up, Rose. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our grant writer. Unbelievable. All volunteer.
Volunteer.
And her husband, Jerry, too.
And my husband, Jerry, too. I sucked him in also. I want to just say two comments about the permitting. You know, we went through about a year with the engineering company. We had a lot of permitting to do. There are really a lot of restrictions because of fish, mostly. When we can do work, we can't do any construction April through August. We can only put the pilings in September to October. So when we go to the meeting, we'll have to make clear to the ESD people that we might have to stretch out our timeline because of, you know, they took 3 months to actually send the contract for you to look at.
Right.
They would not in December. So that's one issue. And then I think, and Jerry and I were talking about this, now that they've awarded this grant, they have a really vested interest in having a successful project done because it makes them look good. So I'm sure they're going to help us out.
Yes, I hope so. They should.
Right. And could you just, you know, the importance of why we actually got that all the permits, because we actually had the South Pier, even though it's pretty in bad shape. But if we didn't have that in the river, they're not given any permits to do anything in the Hudson River.
I went to a meeting at the DEC with Al when we were trying to get our permit done, and one of the captains from the Clearwater came with us, and we were told by the director there that hurry up, get this pier fixed, because if it gets any more derelict, you have to tear it down, you're never going to get another permit in a pier like this. And then our engineering company that works with people all up and down the rivers and in other states said, we are really the envy of a lot of towns because we have this pier and we're going to be able to fix it and we'll have like a premier fishing pier. I think that's the main thing. It's going to be for people to come and use, and it's going to be all ADA compliant, universal access, so anybody will be able to get out there and
Enjoy the river.
And enjoy the river. And it's really wonderful out that far out over the water. It's really nice. That's all I
Thank you,
wanted to say.
Rosemary.
Thanks, Rosemary.
Thank you for all your hard work. Really appreciate it. Okay. Where are we here? Correspondence.
So just to close on that,
Oh, yeah.
thanks for the
Sorry.
comments, particularly the Milton Pier. We'll know more after the Friday meeting. And the other items, some of them we've already approved, and some we'll probably discuss a little bit more. But that's all, okay? Good discussion.
All right, thank you, and thank you for working on that, Howard. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for putting it out there, Howard. I appreciate it, too.
Thank you.
So the only correspondence I have is for the Highland Lacrosse League, and are we good for that, Danielle?
I didn't read the letter. I think we're okay with
Yeah,
that.
just-
I spoke with him.
He actually called me today, Adam.
Yeah.
He called me today, and I knew he had spoke that he had dropped his, he shared his insurance paperwork and everything was clear. And he wanted me to just tell the board that this is like just Field B, you know what I mean? And it's just in case.
yeah.
And
He
he may
mentions
need it for a
that.
game and probably not. And if he needs it for a game, he's not gonna mark the field with any kind of paint or chalk. He'll use cones. So he just really wants to have, we're his spare tire,
Kind of
is basically what it
backup,
boils down to.
It's a backup
Yeah.
field
Yeah,
for
that's all.
whenever. And
They did this last year too, didn't they?
No, they used the
No.
Tomback parking lot
Oh,
because they
okay.
got mudded out up in Highland. So they were using the parking lot in Tomback. So, mud
it'll
season.
be fine.
So I think the
He's
board's
supposed to
okay
bring
with this,
snow, so-
Fine with it.
especially from the explanation from Councilman Koenig. And so you want to make a motion, Alan, that
Yeah.
Adam could use this?
Yeah, make a motion that the Highland Marlborough lacrosse is allowed to use the fields when they need, when they need the field.
I got a motion, I need a second.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. Thank you, gentlemen. Why does that name sound so familiar? Is he an
Because-
Eagle Scout?
His son was an Eagle Scout, yeah, did a
Okay.
project for us.
Okay,
So,
great. Okay, public comment. Any public comment? Come on up, James. How are you this evening, James?
Two things. I just want to clarify one thing, that you've approved them to start bringing the trucks in to take the tires out?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet?
Yeah.
Nope.
Okay.
We gotta make sure we have the
The people.
labor to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're volunteering, I thought that's probably what you were doing.
If I'm available, I might come and try to help out.
You can operate the excavator.
Yeah, we're trying to put everything in place, coordinate everything with the box truck and the community help.
That's good. That's good.
The brush at the transfer station?
Don't rush.
Yeah, no, there's certainly a few other things I want to talk to you about, Howard, after the meeting.
Okay.
But I did go to a meeting at Ulster County. They're going to have biannual meetings.
Yeah.
And clearly, one of the biggest challenges that they mentioned was the education. People want to throw away everything, and they want to recycle everything, and you can't. So educating them as to what they can and cannot recycle is a very important part. I gave you some, Supervisor, I gave you some sheets to be handed out with the permits. These are very important, and things may change over time because they have to deal with the people who actually use these materials, and sometimes they change what they want and what they don't want, and then it has to go down the line and continually educate the people as to what can and can't be recycled. So this is not only our town, but it's all over the place, that this is a very difficult issue, the education of the public. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks
James.
for attending that, Jim.
Thank you.
If I can.
Yes.
Get it to me when you're done. We'll take it. No, there's only 3. What do you mean?
Mickey Simonovsky again. Just to follow up on James's comment, I recall many years ago when I was on the board, part of the thing that the CAC was responsible for was educating the public about waterways, et cetera. And we included, in order to fulfill that responsibility, we included some literature in the water bills to make sure that people in the water district got that information. So I don't know how you do your billing now. It's been several years since I've been involved. But if you inserted some kind of an explanation on what can be recycled, where it can be recycled, that would be a good way to get out to that information to at least all the people in the water district. So it's a suggestion. You're spending the postage anyway. Thank you.
Actually, you could pay your water bill online now. We're on the 20th century. 21st century.
The bill is coming by mail still.
Yeah, they are. And then you could pay them
We
electronically.
could put it on the Website,
We'll
certainly.
put it on the website too, James. Yes, James? You guys got a tag team going? Or is- You remember what you were saying?
Oh, no, I already said, I just want to comment on that, which is, you cannot really send these out in the water bill. And the problem is that each of the different private companies and the transfer station take different things. So that becomes one of the complicated items, that you may have two different contractors, people living next to each other with different contractors, and they want different things.
Another reason for going to garbage districts, right?
So that is certainly a problem, and you can't really mail anything out. It really has to be at the transfer station and giving it out
We have it
when
at
you have
the
the permits.
town hall.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I'm going to leave that up to the transfer committee anyhow.
Ah, boy.
I like to pass the buck, you know?
Big problem.
So, anything else? Anybody else? Yes, Jerry, come on up. How are you, sir?
Good, how you doing?
Good, good.
Jerry Wine, I just wanted to add a few more words to the topic of the pier. I know everybody kind of grabbed the idea of this being an economic engine, but just in context, what we received is an Empire State Development grant. And Empire State Development gives you 20% of the project. That's the max, and that's what we got. These are, you could consider this a business grant. It's very, very competitive. I don't know how many people applied. It's a small percentage of people that get them. And this is the state investing. This is not philanthropy. This is the state saying, you guys have given me a business case where I see a return on investment for your town, for the region, and the state. So just context in what's the grant's about. We have convinced the state that we've got a case here for economic development, and the benefits are going to come back to us. They're real financial benefits, jobs, businesses, hopefully, a tax advantage sometime in the future. Thanks.
Thanks for that explanation. That was great.
That's a great explanation. You should be our marketing team.
Okay. Going once, going twice. Okay. Okay, so we tabled this resolution last meeting, and it was Resolution 35 to accept an application for towing license, tabled from, 3/11. So I'll propose it again. Supervisor Lanzetta proposes the following. Whereas the Town of Marlborough Town Code, Chapter 140, tow trucks, states that the town clerk shall accept applications for permits from persons desiring to tow in the Town of Marlborough. And whereas the Town Board of the Town of Marlborough must approve the application before the town clerk can issue a permit, be it resolved that the application from Pink Towing and Repair be approved. It moves for its adoption. Yes, Danielle.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so this last resolution, Jerry came to me. As you know, we had a problem maybe a month ago, Jerry, was it? A gentleman was hit crossing 9W going to Pizza Town. And so I asked Jerry to write a detailed letter to, actually we called Dave Corrigan. He suggested we mail it to these people. So Mr. Goff, G-O-F-F. So Jerry did. He explained the whole situation, how the individual got hit, and how we have been putting citations out, monitoring it and stuff like that, and it's a dangerous spot, and we're very concerned about the safety of our community and people who cross the 9W, especially at that junction there between Keybank and Pizza Town. So in the response was to make sure that he says, Dear Chief Kokoza, thank you for your correspondence to the New York State Department of Transportation. That's the New York S State DOT, dated February 14th. Your correspondence has been assigned to the Regional Traffic and Safety Group and given the tracking number T19035. So then they go on to say, upon receipt of town resolution supporting the request, will initiate a formal investigation into the matter. So that's what this resolution that I wrote up. We just got this today, so I wanted to address it right away. So the resolution gets the board aware of what the situation is and that we're going to DOT. And it reads, one second. I know, I can't see that.
Oh, okay.
I'm old.
Just make it enlarge it out. You know? Maybe I can see it now. Can you enlarge it for you?
Yeah, forget about it. I can see it. Whereas the town of Marlborough, New York State Department of Transportation, NYS, I got it on my DOT. Thank you very much for all the help. And Ulster County Planning completed the Route 9W Corridor Management Plan that was 10/18/18. And whereas recommendations P-1 was to enhance crosswalks on Route 9W in Marlborough, Hamlet, with pedestrians activated triangular rapid flashing beacon, and whereas concerns for pedestrian safety have prompted the town of Marlborough Police Chief to immediately petition to install such a device at the present crosswalk in front of 1326 Route 9W. Be it resolved that the town of Marlborough supports petitioning the New York State DOT to install a rectangular rapid flashing beacon at the crossing in the hamlet in Marlborough and moves for its adoption. So everybody knows what that is. You push a button and then it lights up, so this way the motorists know that you're walking on the crosswalk. Actually, I think the first time we got 16, the next time when we had the police out there monitoring it, we got 30-something, we got like 40, you know.
Where was the recommendation to put that? On the corner or where the current crosswalk is?
Where it is.
It would be moving the existing? Would not be, okay.
It's just replacing the bright green
Signs.
Right.
Yeah,
electric
yeah.
flashing.
And did the DOT, do they approve of those? Do you know? I
Where
thought that, I know, but just the technology in general, I thought there was some discussion about they don't like those. Do you know if that's the case or? Okay. Well, we'll see. Well, I mean, certainly.
Well, we can.
Recommended by Dave Corrigan.
Yeah.
They were, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we followed Dave's instructions, and then we went to the right guy and went to, and it's in our 9W corridor
Yes.
plan.
Just so you know, just because people get run over there on a regular basis doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to approve these signs.
Right.
No, they want,
Don't ask.
we have to have a couple of deaths at least, right?
Hopefully not.
No, hopefully not. So that's why we're asking for the safety of the community. I know it's really a bear crossing there. You got to do something about it, you know. And hopefully we'll have a response from this.
The way it is now, Jerry, and this is great. I mean, the way it is now, people, if they see somebody in that crosswalk, they are supposed to stop.
Yep.
Right. Right. And of course, they don't even.
They don't
slow
even
slow down.
stop. They see you on the corner, and they know you want to cross, but they don't stop. You could stand there all day.
The two details that we conducted there yielded over 40 violations.
Yeah.
The next step in that process is to do a pedestrian crossing detail. So not everybody uses the crosswalk, so
Jaywalking?
jaywalk.
Yeah.
And
Get 'em.
Well, that's,
the next progression would be to go ahead and enforce that. I do see some issues with that.
You know, 100.
it's not on the corner, that's,
If you're going to educate the commuter, you have to educate the pedestrian.
right.
So hopefully with the big bright signs, that will attract the pedestrian to cross in the right spot. So that's my wish and desire.
Yeah, because my biggest concern was, especially if you live in New Paltz or you frequent New Paltz, they're pretty good up there. You know what I mean? And when I travel through, I'm very conscious to stop, and it's like, I think people who normally travel through New Paltz, conversely, the ones who walk in New Paltz, right, so they think it's just like, okay, I can walk. Well, you come to Marlborough, well, bets are off, man. You know what I mean? So, but if you have somebody from New Paltz who's like, hey, I'm in a crosswalk, I'm going, that's where it's bad news.
Yeah, we're very fortunate that nobody really seriously got
Yeah.
hurt.
In the grand scheme of things, our crosswalks are relatively young. So
Yes.
many people.
The sign, this will work, you know, this will help.
Right, are used to seeing the signs. I know you're supposed to pay attention to signs, but they don't even pay attention to speed limit signs.
No.
Why they see the big orange sign.
Yeah.
Now, with big red flashing lights and whatever else it might be.
Well, it might also kick in like that muscle memory saying, hey, you know what I mean, crosswalk, oh yeah, crosswalk, you know what I mean? Because I don't think anybody thinks about it there.
We used to have the crosswalk signs we put in 9W, but they
That you run over.
daily basis. We just keep replacing them.
Right. So my understanding is that this one individual, he made it across the southbound, but then somebody wasn't paying attention and hit him in the northbound.
That's correct.
Okay.
Southbound traffic stopped, he stepped out from that vehicle that let him through. Northbound never saw him, just.
Well, we're asking, so let's see what the
I
OT
don't know
comes
if you
back
can
with.
answer this in a public forum, but was the person who was driving the vehicle local or from out of town?
Out of town. Okay, Daniel. Did we, we did?
Yes.
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 Yes. Okay, everybody. Well, thank you, Girl Scouts. Good luck with your project. If there's anything that we could help with, just let us know. You can. But you have to come up to the microphone. Oh.
Like, I live in the town.
You're on the camera, too.
So, in that area where you're talking about the crosswalk, there's a light that blinks. Why can't that light be connected to the button? I know it would be moving the crosswalk, but if you push that button, the light
A little further
would stop.
by
I know,
King
but you'd
Street,
have to
right?
like move the crosswalk. The other thing is like, you know the crosswalks that have the blinking lights in them? So if like there could be something in the road that would also be blinking when that crosswalk button is pushed, that is blinking and notifies the cars that someone is actually walking across the road.
We don't control it.
You have to excuse my ignorance on it, but the DOT has to approve whatever.
That's why we have to go this way.
Yeah. We have no control over that.
You have no, so those
We
are
have
things that
zero.
you can propose
Where-
to
that's-
the
that's-
DOT?
We propose a lot to the
Yeah,
DOT.
we
You
need a
do.
proposal.
A whole lot.
Okay, and then they have to approve?
Yeah,
They
exactly.
shake their head and go, okay.
Okay,
And fund it, too.
okay.
Yeah.
Great idea.
DOT approved the crosswalk that's existing there, but it steps off the curb. It's non-ADA.
It's not ADA.
They just approved the crosswalk and put it in, with the hope that the town would go ahead and fix the curb. Where that agreement was, I have no idea, but that's what they did. These items you're talking about placing in the road, I don't think they're gonna do around here for the very simple reason that it won't stand up to the plowing of 9W. But they will do the lit signs with the countdown.
Yes.
That was a suggestion made by, our contact at the DOT, and that's why we suggested that to the regional manager.
Okay.
So the whole thing about the blinking light by King Street, and that's only used for the Marlborough Fire Department.
Okay.
Then when they have to go and make a call, they turn that red.
There used to be one in Milton years ago, right out here by Stewart's, and it was the same thing, there was a big button, there's buttons still there at the fire department, and you hit the button, and it would time it so when the truck left the building to come up to 9W, that all the lights would be red, and the fire truck would go through, and
Okay.
that's the same thing Marlboro still has.
Yeah.
But they changed this light.
All right, well, thank you, that definitely clears that up.
See, you come to these meetings, you know, you learn a lot about your town, you know? Thank you very much. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn. Can I get a second?
Absolutely.
I'll second it.
All
All in
right.
favor?
Good
So
night.
moved. James, say that question for next week.
He'll be here.
Okay.
He's going to give it to you. Jerry. I owe you 50?
I paid my 50, I'm going.
Jerry,
guy that does a lot of work for me in the vineyard, he does a lot of trimming. Danny knows him pretty well, Daryl. He had open heart surgery, so he's not been trimming for me. So I hired a young fellow who graduated from Fingerless Florida College with a degree in vineyard management. And he started for me yesterday. It was the second day. It was okay. But I still will meet Danny from time to time. So
Just give him a reach out. He's living with his mom there.
hopefully.
I feel as though it is what it is.
I thought there might be something like that because I heard you talking to Tina about it the other day.
Both of them.
Both of them were?
Yeah, Timmy don't like my rules. I think because Timmy's not looking out, and, I don't know. It was just, there's no rhyme or reason with Danny, and his excuses as to why he doesn't want to be here doesn't make sense. I didn't take him on vacation when I went to Florida. I've been going to Florida for 16 years for the race, and I never took the kids. But this year it was an issue he wanted. I don't know. And now he's complaining that I didn't take him snowmobiling and one snowmobile, but he sold my 2 snowmobiles that he was riding. He sold them and kept the money, so what was he supposed to ride?
So how did he sell them? Why did he sell them?
He put them on Craigslist and some.
Did you say sell them or?
I had to sign the registrations. He was supposed to buy another sled with them.
Okay.
So I was gonna allow him to sell the 2 old ones and buy a newer one. But he decided he didn't want to buy that one. He wanted to put it towards a vehicle. So he didn't have sleds. So he was upset that we didn't take him snowmobiling last, but there's no sleds to drive. And then the last thing was he bought a Valentine's Day gift for Ari. And we were in Florida when Valentine's came. So when we got home, we put it back in his room and sent a text message. Listen, we want you to give a Valentine's Day directly to Ari. And bought a nice stuffed animal. And he got mad at me. Doesn't remember our conversation about putting it back in his room so he could give it to him. He just sent me a text message. He didn't talk to me. He sent me a text message saying, "Oh, I'm just going back to mom's. I'll talk to you soon."
Well, I'm sorry about that.
You know, this just happens with divorces.
I know.
It is what it is. We'll get through it.
Yep. I just went to see my son down in South Carolina last week. Kid. Pretty good. So. Yeah, I do. Anyway,